Hello everyone, I'm Dawn here from Media Club Room, and now we're live at the ASEAN China-India Youth Leadership Summit 2024, and I'm now here with Nigel Lee, General Manager of Lenovo Singapore. Now Nigel, I know Lenovo Singapore has been championing youth empowerment and sustainability by enabling students to give used laptops a new lease of life through a program at ITE. As part of Lenovo's annual Love On Month of Service, they've launched the Refresh and Reboot Laptop Care campaign. Can you tell us a little bit more about what inspired Lenovo to sponsor the summit this year?
Sponsoring the summit is very critical for us. So this summit is about, I think, two things. One is about what is AI doing, and sustainability. It's a combination of the AI for sustainability. So AI has been a big buzzword, especially in the last 18 months, and it's becoming bigger and bigger. But the problem is double-edged sword. It's good on one hand because it helps better decision making, more collaboration and so on. But on the other hand, on the back end side of things of AI, is consuming too much electricity, too much water. And thus, I think sharing what Lenovo is helping in bridging, this mitigation of between the good and the bad. On the sustainability, I think it's critical. I think in the last 18 months, we've been building up labs, helping ITEs, to have a sustainability lab and also an AI lab. This is to train the youth, going into the real world. So we are putting them emphasis on refurbishing those equipments that comes back after the end of life, and then really give it to the charitable organization they can use probably in schools, and it just go back into the whole ecosystem. And I think that is why we are here today, to share our experience and to ensure that the youth is able to learn from what we've shared and make it better in the future.
Oh, very nice. So in your opinion, why this passion for youths?
The youth is about future. So I think it's very, very important. The youth is about next generation. The youth is going to create the next cycle of life. Especially sustainability, I think the youth is the one that's going to change the world. But in the last few years, producers are now becoming responsible. We have made more sustainable products. And thus, I think in the future, the youth will be able to implement more and more as to make the world more sustainable. So I think the youth is the one that's going to make the future brighter.
Very true. I believe in that as well. So when you talk about AI and technology just now, how can youth use that to champion sustainability efforts moving forward in the future?
I think using AI is sustainable because there are a lot of data points out in the world. Companies like ours, we collect data points every second. And by using those data points, we are able to, really come out with more sustainable products. By next year, all our notebooks is going to be using recycled products. And those are based on data points that we've been collecting. There's so much information on the world. Actually, they can collect and utilize it, collaborate with all the users around the world. They will come up with a better plan. It can be stuck in the classroom, in the school, the small community. Every bit counts, to make sure that we have a sustainable world.
All right. So why does Lenovo believe in supporting and empowering startups?
Lenovo also came from a startup. Actually, this year is our 40th year. I think it's important. Startups is always important to our ecosystem, to our part of our product offerings. We have a capital incubation group that HFX invests in startups or scale-ups. And we look at it is that if the product is good and the product is able to be compatible and go to market eventually, why not? Investing and working closely with the startups is a key component for our business.
So on that area, can you tell us why Gignite was chosen as one of the local partners?
I think very simple. I think Gignite being a startup, local, I think the value proposition was they're able to create AI on the go for SMB. So our focus at that time, I think, was bringing AI to SMB. And they just came in at the right time where they had the products, they're able to help the SMB companies. So it was basically a compatibility of the two companies. That was the journey that we want to go to market together.
Very nice. So just now you talked a little bit about the Sustainability Lab, right?
Mm-hmm.
So can you share us a little bit more about Lenovo's Sustainability Lab? Any other efforts that the youth in particular can look forward to?
I think the first step for us, Sustainability Lab, is to train the students. How do we refurbish them? And the good thing is that we have a lot of these equipments coming back. So in fact, it's real life that we are passing on all these equipments to the students to have hands-on experience. Then moving on, we want to certify them, so that we prepare them, not just in the IT world, but in the sustainable. So when they go out to the workforce, there's a lot of demand for technicians, engineers in this area, in this field of practice. And thus equipping them in the tertiary level, they're ready for the future.
Very nice. So just now when you talked about, the youth is our future.
Yep.
But one last key piece of advice you'd like to give them?
I started as an engineer and to progress to where I am today. So I think the youth is always full of knowledge. The traditional way of networking, relationship, all this cannot go away. And I think the face-to-face thing is always critical, especially in doing business or anything that you do. We need to learn from each other. Of course, you can learn from the computer, you can learn from AI, but there's so much they can do for you. The interaction with humans to humans is always critical. Otherwise, it's really meaningless in life. Just to sit behind the computer, just staring at the computer and say, yeah, hopefully the computer can solve my daily problems. But unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. From our part, from the producer, I think we are playing a major role using recycled products to create our products. But at the end of the day, it will fall in the hands of the consumers or the users. So be responsible at the end, please. Put it in the recycle bin, because it is our producers like ourselves that's responsible to take it back, break it down and recycle the entire components of the notebooks. So in actual fact, it goes back to the circular economy.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Nigel.
Thank you.
Thanks so
Good.
much.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.